Now on Bay Lifestyle, time to catch up with the Kenny Group, and I've got Chris Kenny-Smith with me today. Hello, how are you, Chris?
Good, Roxy.
Now, I suppose before we get down to business, you'd better tell me who you think is going to win the grand final.
Well, definitely Richmond.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the popular choice. In fact, I haven't had anyone yet who's said anything else. But anyway, go Tigers.
I wouldn't dare.
Oh, no, exactly. Now, we're talking about something complicated and a bit annoying, and anyway, it might affect you, and if it does, then this is worth having a listen to.
Yes, it's just a little bit about this Centrelink debt recovery that's going on. And Centrelink have always looked at debt recovery where they've overpaid people, but there's been a bit of there's been a lot in the press about, they've called it robo-debt.
Yes,
where they're automatically sending out debt letters to people who may or may not owe Centrelink money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a whole issue in itself. But what I wanted to make sure people knew is that if you're repaying a debt to Centrelink, you're going to get an amended payment summary for them. So we need to amend your tax return as well. So what happens is, say you're repaying a debt and it was 3 years ago, and they originally paid you $15,000, but they're taking that all back. You would have paid tax on that.
That just like years ago, that happened to me. I actually can't be bothered filling out the forms. I'm probably owed money by Centrelink, but I just can't go through the process. But there's, which is silly really. But years ago, I was overpaid, and then I had to pay it all back. I would have paid tax on that.
You would. So, I've had quite a few people in lately who might have been repaying 3 or 4 years. And when we start chatting and I say, well, what years does this cover? If they go and get statements from which they can download from MyGov, and we amend the tax returns, you might actually find that they've overpaid their tax by a few $1,000s.
See, isn't it interesting? Because then the government doesn't actually tell us that, do they?
Well, the pay-as-you-go payment summary you get from Centrelink says you should notify the tax office. But people say to me, how do I do that? Why do I do that? It's not really till they talk. Even
if you've got it all linked up on MyGov, because most of us are on MyGov now, does that assist or no?
No, it doesn't.
No.
So the tax office talk to Centrelink and tell them all your information. I'm not sure that Centrelink talk to the tax office a lot, because really they could automate these.
Because you'd imagine that if they're so clever at using our tax returns to decide whether we deserve to get the money or not, you'd think they'd be clever enough to do the reverse.
Yes, but it's not happening. So
no.
I guess people just, at least if you're owing $10,000 or repaying Centrelink, whatever, just don't forget there might actually be a little bit of a flip side to that, in that you can get more back on your tax. So
awesome.
Should be followed up.
Look, absolutely. And if you are in that situation, can I just advise that you go and see an accountant like the Kenny Group, who will be able to go back through your returns and have a look at where you did pay and be able to work out fairly quickly, I would imagine, nowadays that you can sort of log into people's accounts, whether they're deserving to get a return or what.
Yes, you're right. It's very quick and simple. You don't even need all your old paperwork. We can download it.
Awesome. Oh, that's what I'd love to hear. It is Chris Kenny-Smith from the Kenny Group joining us today. Thank you so much for telling us that. And if you're in that situation, I'd just give them a call. You can find them online at thekennygroup.com.au.
Thanks, Roxy.